Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. Going for my face shave using holy caw, as in law, as in the way I think it's supposed to be said. I'm pretty certain, 99.9%, and the owner has said. So I am a little bit confused because he did send Spencer a message saying it's supposed to be said like cow, but mine's is more recent, so mine's wins. So holy caw. Fougere Bouquet Special Edition, donkey milk formula, my previous #1 base, soap base, and I'm looking forward to knocking it out just to see. I've just used 5 days in a row pretty much of Noble Otter, their latest soap base, which is off the charts, simply amazing, brilliant stuff. So be interested to see how we go with this. Now, scent on this is a beautiful Fougere. Fougere is just whatever the maker makes it smell like, pretty much. This one is a really sort of floral take on it. It's quite sweet, it's earthy, it's a really nice scent. Scent strength's a good 5 or 6 out the tub, as opposed to all the scents from Noble Otter being 4 or below in terms of scent strength out of 10. So scent strength and scent complexity, I would probably give it to holy caw. And having used the Man from Mayfair, which I believe is their sort of barbershop scent, similar sort of vein as Bar from Noble Otter, they don't quite smell like Fine American Blend and Cad and those sorts of scents. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this, see how it goes. The brush for today is the Graydog Horsehair. I still haven't checked. This is some sort of pink wood, and this is obviously, it looks sort of like a bit like mahogany or a dark oak. But I will double check, and I'll probably need to update on my next use with it, or I'll just update with some photos or something like that at some point. I've just sort of got excited, ran out of time, and haven't been able to really look at what's in here. Now, horsehair brushes. I have beaten the shit out of this brush for the last half an hour and lost, that's some of it. That's some of the hairs that have come out of it. See if I can get that to focus. Shit tons. So I'm expecting to lose quite a few more, but we'll see how we go. Like I say, I'm happy with these to lose maybe 100, 150 hairs. I've already lost in excess of 50, well in excess of 50. I would say I'd be close to 100 already. I'm sort of running my fingers over it now, and they're not all falling out like they were in the beginning. So let's just see how we go. Stick it in the water. Now, horsehair, I have just found out pretty much from how I've sort of prepared this brush, you don't need to soak it. It's just no point. As soon as you dip it in the water, the hairs go soft pretty much straight away, and you end up with something that looks a little bit like that. So straight into the holy caw soap. Now, I'm expecting still to lose quite a lot of hairs, but not as much obviously if I just got stuck straight into using this. It does have a very strong scent, the horsehair itself. Just dip the tips. Yeah, it's a lovely scent, this Fougere Bouquet. Like I say, it's not really my sort of scent. It is probably just a little bit too floral, but it is nice. It's almost got a cologne sort of thing going on with it as well. In terms of the Fougeres that I've used, which aren't very many, this is probably the nicest one that I've smelled. I'm still really intrigued to see what the Secret Artisan does with his, in terms of what sort of scent comes out, that he's just fiddling around a little bit with the scent strength of the oils that he's using, and how much oil he's putting in to sort of dye it down a little bit on the lemon grass and see what sort of happens with it. So I'm excited to smell them when the final product's done. Obviously the soap base is really good. I did shave my wife's legs with the Secret Artisan soap base a couple of nights ago, and it performed exceptionally well. Very slick. I did use my 30mm Whip Dog bow, which I have now found is not a very good knot for leg shaves, not for me, for the wife, because it doesn't hold enough lather. The knot's far too small. It's enough to do sort of 3 face shaves just, but I had to go back and load the puck twice, load the brush up twice from the soap. Right, I think I've got enough in here. I don't know, but I think I have. Like the face. I'm going to scoop off all the excess from the tub. Right, dip the fingers in. Now there's no doubt about it, Holy Caw donkey milk formula is still exceptional soap. And it's very close to my number one. And we'll soon see with this shave just how close, or whether it should actually still be number one. It's been a little while since I've used the base, since I've used the donkey milk formula. So here we go with the Graydog Horsehair brush. I'm not sure what the loft is on this, it's pretty high compared to the other one that's going to Spencer, but beautiful brush, got a sort of fat bottom girl sort of handle, really fat on the bottom and slim at the top. So here we go. I might call this brush the J-Lo. All I'm doing now is just painting a lot of water in. Now this brush will splay very, very easily. It's got literally no backbone. Now one thing I like about these horsehair knots that Graydog uses, they don't twist and swirl in the middle. Like I've seen a lot of people's brushes go and get wrecked. They don't quite do that as much. They do it a little bit here and there. But the place that they found to source his knots from, as you can see, it's swirling a little bit, but it's nothing compared to some of those knots out there. I think I've lost one hair there. Now this lather isn't as thick as it normally would be if I used a synthetic. I'm using a brush that I'm still not 100% sure on using horsehair, so I hope it doesn't affect the lather in terms of this review. But we'll see. Karve razor, and I've got the Gillette Super Stainless, the spoiler blade in here, the spoiler on its 12th use now. So here we go, 12th use blade. Nice horsehair there. Lovely scent. Really nice. Let's have a look at the residual slickness. I do have to take a little bit into consideration I used a natural hair brush, but then again I've used 2 natural hair brushes with no bolota, so I really can't excuse it for the hair or the knot, really. It's slick. Is it slick? It's not really that slick. Yeah, there's something going on. I think it could be the knot. Don't ask me why. Sometimes a natural hair knot, especially when it's new, takes a little bit of this residual slickness out. There's hardly any residual slickness there, if I'm honest, compared to what I've had before with this soap, so I'm not blaming the soap for it. I've got a bloody ingrown hair there. Can't believe this, I'm going back to the bloody soap. Do you know what? I'm going to chuck a Tuxedo in here. I've not quite mastered using that Horshair brush yet. I don't think it's firm enough to get deep into the soap to actually get a good load on. So I'll use my Frilot custom Celtic brush. It's not that that brush isn't any good, I think it's just a little bit soft to dig into this soap. So I'll use my Tuxedo knot here, dig right into it and build a lather that's worthy of the soap. Here we go. Much better. As you can see how quick that lather built. It's much thicker, much thicker. That's the lather I expect from Holy Call, and that's the lather I get when I use a synthetic. That brush is just too soft. I think I probably need to stick to creams and things like that and softer soaps. So here we go, across the grain with the Karve. Yeah, there we go, it's better. Right, let me just check the slickness now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, slickness is there now, I think. Let's just check. Yeah. I have to say though, it doesn't feel as slick as Otter. It really doesn't. The lathers feel pretty much identical in density and that sort of creme fraiche, creamy sort of way. Right, here we go. Holy cow, when you use a synthetic anyway or a brush that's a bit stiffer, creates a pretty much identical type of lather in terms of density, intra-slickness when you're actually shaving with it, the cushion, everything is all there. It's very, very similar to Noble Otter, they're very similar in that way. Residual slickness, just based on those two passes where I had it, Noble Otter edges it in my opinion, just, not much, but it does feel slicker. It feels like I've got more of a film on my skin that actually allows me to glide the razor without any lather on there. Post-shave feel, they're pretty darn close. I have to say that feels really nice. My skin doesn't feel irritated at all. Really, really nice. So I can't really have a go to for that. So the margins are very, very small in terms of how much Noble Otter is ahead of it. Noble Otter for me still, as a base and a performing soap, beats Holy Cow just. I find it probably just a little bit easier to create a bigger lather for some reason, even though when I switched to the synthetic I still made a lovely lather. It felt like it wasn't building as quickly as it did with Noble Otter. But it could be that I didn't have that roughness of my hair on my face, so I sort of screwed up a little bit here using this brush, I think, in terms of being able to review it and give it a good review. So I'm going to come back to this soon, the Holy Cow, and just use a synthetic straight off the bat with it and just give a bit of opinion of it, comparing it to Noble Otter. So there you go, see, look, 1, 2, 3. No, it's only 1, thought it was 2 and 3 there, but they stayed in. Just rinse the other brush out now. So I am a little bit, I'm not rushed, but I am a little bit rushed. I've got to be in work in sort of 30-40 minutes. Luckily I'm working close to home today, which is nice. It's overtime and I get paid my kilometres from my usual working place, so I get an extra, it'll be close to 160, 170 kilometres. I don't know what the actual pay scale is, how much I get per kilometre, but I get paid a certain amount per kilometre because it's away from my base, where my actual work base is. There's a couple more hairs come out there. That will just shed and shed and shed eventually. It'll either have no hair left, or eventually it'll just have to stop because there'll be no more that can actually come out. So I'm just rinsing this out. Now Holy Caw takes a little bit longer to rinse out as well, so suggesting that there's probably a little bit more higher oil content in the Holy Caw compared to the Noble Otter. The Noble Otter literally rinses out instantly when the hot water hits it. Just another thing to sort of note. But yeah, post-shave feel, yeah, it's excellent. It's really, really good. So the only thing really is the ease of loading, building the lather. Maybe not loading, but the ease of building the lather. It's quicker with Noble Otter. The residual slickness is definitely better if you're a person that likes to buff with just residual slickness. But everything else is pretty much on a par. You have to take into account as well that Holy Caw made their formula last year. This new Noble Otter formula has pretty much come out within the last month. So no doubt Sri over at Holy Caw will be working on something at the moment that will probably make this base even better. So it seems to be happening quite a bit. Lather Brothers has brought out a new one. Australian Private Reserves has brought out a new one. There's a new artisan coming out in Western Australia. There's lots of really good soap bases coming out at the moment. It's quite exciting for people, especially like myself, that like to review and trial these products so you guys can see it in action. So other than that, the soap for today was Holy Caw Fougere Bouquet Special Edition Donkey Milk Formula. The soap looks like that. Now the soap itself is quite a bit firmer than Noble Otter as well. I think you probably get more use out of it over the long term, so it might be a longer lasting soap, giving the hardness of the soap itself. The first brush that I used was the Graydog Horsehair. Beautiful brush, absolutely stunning. Unfortunately just a little bit soft. I couldn't dig into the soap enough to get it up to actually build a good lather and load the brush up well, so switched over to my Frilot custom Tuxedo Celtic brush, the hoops, and this is a beautiful little brush. The razor was the Karve Christopher Bradley razor, which is a collaboration name, I suppose it's named between Chris the maker of the razor, and Brad Melling, who is the man that got him into wet shaving and actually sort of turned his hand towards this sort of thing and got him sort of looking at making these razors. And yeah, that's me done and dusted. I'm not going to put a post shave on just now, I'll put that on later. That feels lovely. Stay safe, drive safe, fly safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you guys in the next shave. Cheers.